What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, MULN says they're done diluting for the rest of this year. At one point, the stock was up 40%. Where are the obvious resistance zones, and what two things did we just ask the CEO David for? And did Jerome Powell just throw cold water on this bull market run, or are we in the midst of a secular bull market that's going to last until at least 2035 and beyond? All that and more coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming up on the 1 o'clock hour. It's pouring rain here in the northern suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. I want to once again thank our 290-some premium members. Without you, this is not possible. I had somebody, by the way, sign up yesterday. You know who you are, and cancel 5 minutes later. Please do not do that. He thought we were just a trading outfit. We are not. However, if you go to trysmallbiz.com because you got a side hustle or a small business, you can advertise your company. And for $2 a day, moi will promote you all over the place. And starting in July and into August, you're going to get into a Facebook group to promote your business, a Discord for stocks. And I'll even do a 60-second video if you've been with us for at least a year by the month, or you pay for an annual, which is currently $600. However, a quarter of our investors, and that's really what you are, and we're going to get together, by the way. We're cruising out of Miami. We're rolling dice in Vegas. I want that to start next year or the following at the latest. But about a quarter of our members who make all of this possible do not have a small business or a side hustle. So if you appreciate these videos, if you love the stock picks that have you up 352% in the last 10 trades, almost 700% since March of last year, I would greatly appreciate your support by the month or the year. And if you're just doing that, your profile's invisible to the public. Once you load all your information, which 3/4 of you or thereabouts have, I start promoting the hell out of you, your small business, and your side hustle. So if you want to go it alone, you can join 96% who do it for free. Or if you want to be among 3 or 4 and only 300 total, you get my help for $2 a day. All right, right now I got the VIX down at 13.5 and the US dollar at 101.80. What does that mean? Bullish. This pullback thus far, very orderly. And you got the mega bears out, right? Mike Wilson over at Morgan Stanley, who's been calling for 3,200. I think he raised it to 3,500 on the S&P. There's a lot of bears out there that have been absolutely demolished. I'm in the camp of what was once resistance at 4,200. It took us more than 10 attempts and almost 18 months to get through, will now become support. So the S&P last trade 4,370, I think could drop. What is that? About 3 or 4%. And what was resistance, 4,200, should become support. I am not in the camp, as I alluded to at the open, that this is going to turn into an absolute meltdown and we're going to 3,000 on the S&P or less. Because if you saw the video I shared, and it's the second one this month, from Chris Chiavaco, depending on what part of the country you're in, I am also of the opinion that we are in the third major secular bull market of the last, let's call it 85 years. Simply put, we have gone sideways for 5 or 10 years, 3 or 4 times in the last 100. But there's been a 26-year and a 27-year secular bull market. This one, in my opinion, is being run by demographics. About 9 months ago, the millennials are now larger than the baby boomers. Artificial intelligence, which is going to drive productivity through the roof. And the fact that we've got much less supply. You notice fewer IPOs on the market than before. And when you add in massive $250 million in buybacks from the top 7 or 8 companies alone, we're going a hell of a lot higher between now and 2035. Why did I come up with that number? Why did Chris originally come up with that number? Because as I just said, there's been a 26 and a 27-year secular. The last big one, of course, was from 82 to roughly 2000. And if you were on Wall Street like I was from 93 to 2007, it was in fuego. So the third secular, before we talk about MULN and the rest of the stocks that we own, which are on fire right now, right? The only thing that we've had a problem with in the last 2 months is MULN, which is getting better as we speak. I'll explain why. And MCOM, because the last 10 trades plus 352 and the other 5 that we own are doing just effing fine. trying to get through a video without so many F-bombs. Are you happy, Ma? I hope so. She died. If you're new, welcome. We don't edit around here. We channel my mother who sits over my shoulder. And sorry, Ma, every time I say fuck this or fuck that, she has a problem. But we are in the midst of the third secular bull market. We went sideways for much of the 2000s. We had a major low in March of 2009. So if you fast forward, as Chris very articulately laid out, 26 or 7 years, you get to 2035. So I'm telling you guys and gals, welcome. We are going to make a shit ton of money. And as I explained in a prior video, if you invested just $10,000, follow me on Twitter at TrySmallBiz, in every single one of my 117 winners since March of last year, you paid for 96 years of premium memberships. So you would have made about $65,000, $70,000 on that 10 grand, and you would have paid me no more than $1,000. Let's see. Jason gets $1,000. He gives me back 65 or 70 grand on 10 grand. And we've had several people that have made over $500,000 and beyond. So follow me on Twitter. If you want to support us, whether you have a small business or not, it's trysmallbiz.com. I think we have 3 or 4 remaining openings. Once we get to 300, that's it. All right. Last but not least, MULN. Let me just say before we get started, my mother died of a stroke. I was the oldest of 5. Rest her soul. I was a mama's boy. I couldn't get through the day, even in my 30s, without a hug from my mother. She was amazing. And she hates, like I said, the sailor potty mouth, which started on Wall Street. Smiling and Dialing, Boiler Room, right? Vin Diesel, Wolf of Wall Street. I actually knew the real character, Leo DiCaprio. Yeah, that's it. That's all, folks. I was working in a sister company of Stratton Oakmont, which was in New York. It was called Biltmore Securities. I was only there for about a month. I lived that life. So I developed an awful habit of swearing. So I get back on track. I hear you guys. Back on track. I do not enjoy blowing a gasket. My mother died of a stroke at 65. My father had a heart attack in his sleep at 69. And worry and anxiety or anger, especially my grandfather who lived to be 92. My dad's real dad made it to almost 97. It runs in my veins. My middle name is Aries. I'm an Aries Alpha Sigma, take your pick male. I am trained that when another lion comes into my territory, you fucking attack. You don't even think about it. You attack. You fight to the death. So I did it for 2 years with respect to the SBA, and I'm doing it now with respect to MULN and MCOM. These two guys, I'm talking about David at MULN and Sal, the worst CEO in NASDAQ history at MCOM, have been fucking around for long enough. So I cannot help the fact that I am raising hell on your behalf. And I've been calling them out for the last several months, but it takes me 6 or 7 hours to come down. It's actually why I'm doing videos now earlier in the day. I got tired of sitting on my couch at 9 o'clock at night, boom, 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 because I could not relax. But I'm going to tell you, because it, again, runs in my veins, until these two motherfuckers, I hear you, start doing what they're supposed to do, and I think that started to some respect today, I'm going to keep doing what I got to do on your behalf. So we learned in a press release that David, and don't you find the timing uncanny? 24 hours after I went ballistic on him and Lion Larry, they come out and they say, we're not diluting for the rest of the year. We got enough cash. To that, I say, bravo. So you had a 15.5 cent low. And as I pointed out on Twitter, resistance was at 21.5. We got up to that range and we failed. Last trade, 19.25. It's going to take us a while to chew through 21. And then if we do, it's a quarter and 30, because remember, we got up to 30. We reversed right back down, took out 20. What was support's now going to become resistance. So it's going to take us a while to get through that, which is why I asked David, and I'm reaching out in multiple ways, ladies and gentlemen, and I can tell you, he's not a fan and neither is Sal. Let's just keep it at that. But I want 2 things done if we're going to get to 50 cents and beyond. And full disclosure, I own the stock at 113. I'm out at 65 in both cases. Why? Because whenever you can go from down 70 or 80 and get out with your teeth at minus 20, 25, that's a huge victory. You're down 50, you need a double. You need 100% on a winner to get even. When you're down, as most of you are, 70, 80, 90%, you're going to need close to 200% to get back to even on either one of those two pigs. That's the same as 4 or 5, 30 to 40, 50% winners elsewhere. How hard is that to do? Very difficult. So for me, if I can get a quadruple from yesterday's low, and they're both in the same boat at 15 and change, up to 65, I'm pulling the ripcord. I know from 30 years of experience, half of that as a broker, I can live to fight another day, because the other 4 or 5 stocks right now, I mean, they're all up. The market's down and 5 of our other stocks are up across the board. We're even or in the money on 3 out of 5 stocks. We're making money. It's the beginning. It's going to last for at least 10 or 12 more years. Follow me on Twitter. Pay attention to the long-term ETFs that I recommend. So I need, in closing, 2 things from David. 1, sell the jet. Been saying this for 2 weeks. Sell the fucking jet. Make the next announcement tomorrow. I've decided to put the jet up for sale and buy $35 to $40 million, up to a half, to show the shareholders, many of which have lost most of all of their money, as pointed out by myself and a few others that are swinging the bat on YouTube and Twitter, as a show of support. Because up until now, David, you've done nothing, including last week at 26 and change, but be a net seller. You want to recoup some of the lost value in the eyes of your shareholders that you've decimated. Sell that fucking jet where you're sitting there like this, trying to act like a big pimp along with Lion Larry, who's strolling through a rented house, and tell everybody you are going to commit 15 million or whatever you end up getting for that jet, buying the stock up to the half. And the second thing, this is what I think could get us to $1 in addition to being on time in terms of production. We want clarity from the 3 insiders 2 weeks ago that filed to sell 242 million shares. It's bullish either way if they come out with a statement, preferably in union. If they come out and say, yes, we filed and we sold it all, and we intend to be part of the 2024 financing because MULN just said they don't need any more money for the balance of the year, we're off to the races. We get the jet sold, a buyback. We get 3 insiders saying they already blew it out because it was 60 cents when they filed, and they want to be part of the financing next year. We're going to take off. If they're still in it, and this is also bullish for anybody, including myself, that's long the stock, please clarify in unison, how much did you sell, and tell us that along with MULN, who has no plans of dilution, you as the insiders controlling 242 million shares have no intention of selling any more stock for the balance of this year. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, always remember that I am looking out for you. We love you, and thank you so much for watching. Is it soccer or football?